Woo! We back with Demoted. We back.
Welcome to Demoted. This week's episode is on work from home.
That's why we're wearing these robes and why we blend in with our beanbags.
Why we match our beanbags. We look not our best. I mean, I still did a full face of makeup. Ross was like, his hair looks insane.
I just thought I'd show up and show out.
Yeah, he was like, I thought this was a work from home episode, so I didn't use any product. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, what product?
I thought we were camera off.
Oh no, we're camera on, baby.
Yeah.
We're camera on.
Can we talk about these beanbags for a second? Because like I don't know if it's that I'm more chill today, but I find myself leaning back a little bit, but I can't because there's no support in this beanbag, and my lumbar is once again broken.
And you also ruin every beanbag that you touch because you switched our beanbags on me. Mine was perfectly upright, and now you're ruining that one too.
I thought maybe there'd be more support from yours because yours was more
erect.
Yeah, shaped, if you will.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, it's just you.
Also, why do I always look like I'm like so? I sit in such a, for lack of a better description, beta position every time on this podcast.
Exactly.
I'm just like shrug.
Ross, like to you listeners out there, is like, you know, the cool douchebag bro.
Yeah.
Like he runs shit. You know, he's at the President's Club. Him in this beanbag is extremely vulnerable.
I've never been more vulnerable.
You'd think he just
sit up here.
Yeah, cries after sex kind of vibe.
Yeah. That's called a climax in my world.
So let's roll the music on that.
Demoted.
Great.
Okay. Well, what's good with you?
What's good with me? Well,
I saw that you were playing some card games with your nerd friends this weekend.
It's called Gloomhaven, and it's a board game. It's like modified Dungeons and Dragons. So every time you play like a new scenario.
And this is what you do for fun on a Saturday?
It was a Sunday, but yes.
I'm just making sure. Okay, perfect.
And we listened to Age of Empires 2 soundtrack, which is an incredible soundtrack from an old school video game. It takes us back, just the boys in our 30s, just playing board games and stuff.
And Becca, you're attracted to this man. I'm just making sure. She's shrugging. She's not sure. So you play card games.
Did you just throw up in your mouth?
She did. She did. That would be Ross's wife. Okay, so that's what you did.
What did you do?
I went out.
That was possibly more fun than that.
I went to LA. I went out in the marina. I was ripping it. Went to a karaoke bar. I sang Stick Season by Noah Khan, that song I showed you in the car the other week, which was an absolute hit.
Did people go off?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks and You know what?
Yeah, like you have like a pretty good voice. So do you kill karaoke?
No, I get shy.
Yeah.
But
you don't let it go. You don't let it.
The girl I was with was harmonizing. I'm like, can we just sing the words on the screen? Maybe.
Love that.
Could we just run it back?
So
and
she's like an actual singer. She's just like,
no, she just thinks she is. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, please, this is hard for me to keep up. So sang a little karaoke. I haven't gone out in a while, so that was fun to just wake up hating myself.
Yeah, rip it.
Again, rip it. Yeah.
We went out to dinner on Friday nights and we did something crazy for 35. We got an 8:45 p.m. reservation.
Wow, that's usually, I text you 8:45. You're like, your do not disturb notification goes off because you're asleep.
Again, 15 milligrams of THC deep at that point. I can barely see. I'm in the shadow realm.
I'm
a little scared. I'm a little scared at that point.
So you went out late night. Wow.
We went to Katonia.
Katonia, you can only get a res.
You can only get a res, and we naturally sat outside.
Of course, freezing.
Because we had to.
Freezing.
Because we had to.
Did you guys bring your parkas?
It was delicious. We did. I brought big old puffy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
so
nice.
good. Did you get the brown butter agnolotti, I think it's called?
Did we get the agnolotti? Yeah, we did get the agnolotti. We got a ton of shit.
Yeah,
we went off.
Wow.
We went off. And I woke up that next morning feeling horrible.
Yeah, you had 2 glasses of wine.
To be fair, I had a lot of whiskey.
Oh, whiskey. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of went hard.
Whiskey guy.
Yeah, big whiskey guy. But I woke up feeling a lot worse than I should have.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what's good with us. If you want to play card games / board games, definitely go to Ross's. If you want to have a fun night out, hang out with me. It's pick your poison.
It's a different dynamic, but there's upside to each.
Totally.
Oh, I have to say one thing. Ladies out there, hi. I play on a co-ed soccer team, and we are short on some ladies on our team because a few dropped out because I think the competition was a little heavy.
Because Ross was literally too demanding and would force them to run suicides if they didn't make a goal.
Well, I like to win.
Totally.
And there are some very good players in this league, and we are looking for a few lasses to join our squad because you need to have 2 women in the game at all times, and we've only had 2 showing up the last few times, so they're just
exhausted.
And come on, we can't run for 40 minutes straight.
Totally.
And we're all average age on our team, 32, average age in the league, probably 24.
Yeah. So young lasses.
We're actually a decent team, but we are missing some folks who we can sub in and out. You'll start. You play college ball, you will start on this team.
They say never meet your heroes, but if you want Ross to scream at you and you maybe unfollow him,
that's fine.
Join the league.
That's fine.
Join the league.
Play to win.
Play to win.
Anyway, that's my
plea.
That's my plea.
Desperate plea.
Hit me up.
So today, if you notice, we're in robes. We are talking about work from home, the old WFH, which, you know, I started Corporate Natalie kind of making fun of this work from home concept.
Right.
I was talking about, you know, the old partner walking in the background in their robe, people not understanding how to mute themselves, all those jokes that were funny 4 years ago during COVID that currently aren't funny anymore. But
they're still funny.
You know, I think we're now in a different space. We're seeing a lot of hybrid models, a lot of return to office policies.
Yep.
People are upset, rightfully so. I think we've gone from a time when we were productive to now like, oh, I have to go in 5 days a week. Like, is there a happy medium?
Yep.
And Ross and I are going to kind of have a little debate, talk about each of the points.
Yep. We'll do a little promoted, demoted, work from home theme, obviously, and then we'll do a dear demoted as well.
As we always do.
Out.
We like to give you guys a good structure so you know what to skip through if you don't like it.
A little agenda.
We like to set like any good meeting.
Our producer makes us do that.
Totally.
He also told us not to wear white ever again, and here we are completely blending in with our beanbags.
He also told us to like shut the hell up about like our personal lives and just catching up. I'm like, no, we're gonna talk about ourselves.
This outline, rip.
Bye.
Yeah.
Sorry, Talon.
We do what we want. No, but we'll do it today. We'll do it today. Okay, so you started making content we'll call it quarantine.
Yeah,
right?
literally.
And like
have you days.
And now you're slowly creeping back into an office.
So I started making content during work from home. I think my job was so travel heavy in consulting that it was just like such a upside down reality of like now being like at home in my tiny apartment. I mean, we all felt those similar feelings, and that's why I took to TikTok to poke fun at it. I do think now I crave the in-person time with you, our bigger Demoted team, Annie, like being able to just like have those points of connection. I think it is
absolutely
a little bit sad. And I think the fully remote employees, at least people who follow me who are maybe in their 20s, I'll say, not like have a family and would maybe prefer to be home, but there is a lot of eagerness to have that camaraderie.
Definitely.
And that's what I'm seeing. I don't know what you're seeing. And what was your work from, let's start with what was your work from home experience? Were you doing corporate bro full time?
Yeah. So it hit me in the last quarter of business school. We all went away. So I was doing it corporate bro still. But I wasn't like in the office every day at that point. So I had left, and I at that point I still wasn't sure whether or not I was going to go all in on corporate bro full time or not. I kind of made that choice during that period, but we all left for spring break in March, and we never saw each other again. Like we didn't get to graduate together. We did a full year.
You didn't get to go on your quick 2-week like Africa trip post grad. You didn't get to do all that.
We didn't do any of that stuff, which was very weird. We ended up doing a graduation a year and a half later.
Yeah.
So we all came back and it was like a fun reunion, but.
Like we all have full-time remote jobs now. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, I remember making super unhinged stuff. I like drew a face on my big protein jar. I named her Proteina, my Quaranquina.
I can't even imagine you in a quarantine mindset. I guess we met like then, but I got like the filtered version of you and a little bit after.
A little bit after things got super weird, made some really unhinged shit, but it was great.
How dark. Yeah.
It was great.
You're also such a like, I need to like have a million hobbies and go out and like do these things, not go out like party, but just like
do
stuff that I'm sure you trapped in a house is like a really scary fate.
Yeah. I mean, you can ask Becca. It was
dark, trying time.
Yeah. It was dark, trying time. I grew a mustache.
Oh, good.
I was sitting cross-legged in a closet that was like a 4x4 room where I would just play video games with my boys.
Oh my God. And were you filming content at this time?
This is when I did the Unsubscribe show.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever watched. It was like a YouTube show I did, 6 episodes. It was all like green screened in my living room.
You were doing Bo Burnham inside before he did it.
Without the music and without being good and talented.
Totally.
It was exactly that.
Talentless, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And tens of people watched and it was cool. And it was just like
I love when you say tens of people watched. It's the best line. For like any video, anything you put out, you're like, and we got like tens of views, which is awesome.
And I'm happy about that.
And I'm super happy.
Yeah, but I think it was interesting because it forced evolution across the world, across content creation and so forth. And now we're seeing the RTO, and now it's like if you had told me years ago that we would lose, like the office would go away. Like I always felt, corporate now, I was like, oh, of course we have staying power. Like when is the office, like when is working ever going to be irrelevant?
Yeah.
Like certainly didn't have global pandemic force everybody out of the office on my bingo card.
No,
so all my sketches were like, people who've never been in an office before. That's wild to me. So they can't relate to the whole like break room, the whole like conference room. Like they know it conceptually, but like they don't have the deep seated feelings.
And I think my followers, I would say, are like a little like younger. It kind of went with me through that and like definitely are used to that type of content. Whereas you, I feel like were a little more shaken up by the lack of office content.
Definitely
Because that's like your view of work, rightfully so. I'm treating you like you're a boomer, but like
no, I know, but
that
it's
is like the comedy that you started Corporate Bro on.
Well, then it like, you know, you were always like, when I first met you, you're like, why are you trying so hard on certain like sketches? I was like, well, I need a office. Like,
I need a hook. I need an office. I need a cast of 12.
You're like, no one gives a shit about the background. Just do the office stuff, but do it somewhere else, and no one gives a shit.
Sit in your house alone and film.
Right, and it basically like forced me to do that.
Totally.
And do the kind of TikTok style, meme style videos, and you know, definitely better for it.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny when Beck and I were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and she's a principal of a low income school. So she's managing like 60 teachers and like 600 kids.
All remotely.
Yep. And so she's hosting like 7 a.m. detention. Literally, kids have to sign on to Zoom and just sit there quietly and do work.
Stop.
And then I'll be doing an SKO.
As if they're not scrolling TikTok.
Right, or doing some other shit. And I'll be like in the other room doing an SKO speech, talking about like clapping cheeks really loud. No. And so I had like this speech. I mean, you know, clapping cheeks was like as a joke. Obviously,
totally,
wasn't doing that.
Of course, yeah.
You know, I would never. But anyway, I had like, you know, my speeches that I would deliver remotely, and she knew where all the punchlines were, where all the questionable things I would say was. So she'd be like talking to some parents in Spanish, being like, your kid's like not doing their homework, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, hears me in the, like, because we're in a 1-bedroom, she hears everything.
Yeah.
And he's about to deliver the punchline and mute.
Sorry,
and I say
cut
some
out
shit
for a second there as my husband was talking about clapping cheeks. I'm back. We're back. Hi. Yeah.
So
oh my God.
that was definitely an interesting. We ended up moving like after being in the 1-bedroom for 2 years. We moved, which allowed us to have separate spaces for me to do my weird shit and her to like manage a school in a professional way.
Yeah, and I'm sure she was like thrilled about having a little separation from you in that time.
She was very happy about that.
I had roommates. I had 4. I've always lived with 4 women, and we all had very different jobs, but all like remote kind of tech vibe. And so one of my roommates was at a company where they forced her to be on Zoom for 8.5 hours a day. And like literally would have to say, I think I talked about this in a previous episode, like, could I use the restroom? And so that was her work from home structure. It was like so micromanaged. I had another one who like basically could have just not even joined a Zoom. And like, I was like, how are you still employed? Right. I was like, I feel like I worked probably harder during that time at Deloitte because I was like so afraid of layoffs and like, how do I prove it? Which we all were. I don't know. And then, there's just, my one was like, became a teacher because
she was like, fuck this. I'm so out. I'm going into education.
Exactly. Like I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, a micromanaging place where you are actually in a virtual prison all day would probably send me into education too.
Virtual prison is terrifying. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. That's whatever. And that's the thing about a lot of these like points for returning to the office. It's like, no one trusts anyone to be getting work done.
Right.
And I think it's just an interesting argument of like, well, I'm losing all this time for the commute. You know, like, is it worth going into an office to sit there? Like, I feel like I'll come in, we'll get a WeWork space and I'll go in and I'm like, we're just kind of dicking around the whole time, like going to get snacks.
I have a great time
like,
dicking around though.
Literally, we're like, should we go get lunch? Should we go get a snack? Should we get a sweet treat? Like,
should
whatever.
We go bother so-and-so over there.
Whereas like if we're working from home, we're just like emailing, doing stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just so interesting.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely the big trust piece, and I'm going to butcher this stat, but I'm pretty sure this is what it was. It was like 87% of workers feel like they're more productive at home. And it was like 11% of leaders trust that they're getting the same amount of productivity as before.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and there's we love our effects. We love our phenomena. It's something like,
totally.
It's like the paranoia phenomena, like productivity paranoia is what it's called, I believe. And so basically it's like you said, the paranoia, are people being productive? If I can't be there and I can't see them, can I really trust that they're getting things done? And I think obviously leaders are going to, you know, underestimate the productivity of their employees, and then vice versa. All the other folks are going to be like, obviously I'm more productive.
Let's talk about like why return to the office.
Yeah.
We've been called corporate bootlickers before. We can be called it again. We're fine. We've made it through.
I mean, I'm finally recovered. So I'm
finally basically recovered, but let's go back in.
I'm ready to get hurt again.
Let's get hurt again.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why go into work. And we welcome, again, any and all opinions on, you know, contact at Demoted
because
podcast.
That's what these are.
Opinions.
They're opinions.
These are opinions.
So we're allowed to have them.
Please don't cancel us.
But
just we'll give some points that we've done a little research before. We've talked to our followers, our friends, whatever. So this is kind of what we're seeing. So why return to the office, Ross?
This one's pretty obvious and people talk about it. It's just a stronger workplace culture. Period. Humans crave human interaction. We talked about this before. People who like kind of want to be back in it, who get stimulated and inspired and like interested in one another, you know, like, and I think the points that I'll make here, I would implore people, listeners, to put on their I'm the startup founder and I'm trying to build a company and run a company hat.
Yeah.
Because I think there's like, obviously, like you're going to do what you need to do to build something to be successful. Like, let's just pretend you've taken some VC funding. Like in a perfect world, you're probably all together.
Totally.
In a perfect world.
And we talked about the startup like founder dinner that we went to the other night. And like all of them were saying like, I need to see people. I need to like go to the engineering floor and like know where my product is at, you know?
Right. People ask me all the time, and we talked about this in, I don't know, 5 episodes ago. It's like, how do I be inspired at work? Like if you're selling travel expensing software, that's not going to fire you up. Of course, you're selling Snowflake database. Like, of course, that's not going to fire you up. Like you're going to, because you work with people that you like.
Yeah.
And you want to work hard for those people and you want to feel a sense of purpose. And humans need that. Humans fundamentally need that. There's a mental health cost of working out of your apartment 5 days a week and not talking to people. There is.
Yeah.
And people feel it. And then your job becomes even less purposeful because you don't feel like your contributions matter. You feel like you're isolated. You have to work even harder, like you said, to feel acknowledged and relevant.
Yeah.
And it's all in a little box on a screen. And that's super hard to do and super hard to live with.
I agree. I was out of the country for 2.5 weeks and Annie was like, this is so depressing. Like I literally am just alone in my apartment. Like,
who is she?
And it's true. I mean,
who is she at that point? She needs her best friend.
Yep. I agree with workplace.
She's giving me the middle finger.
Is she giving? Okay.
I've seen it before. It's a familiar picture.
I agree with the workplace culture. I think we'll land on sort of probably, I think we could both agree, a hybrid model.
Yes.
The workplace culture doesn't come from 5 days in the office.
No.
Like, and you absolutely just don't need that.
Yeah.
What else? Why return to the office?
From like if you're in a young, more junior role, right? Visibility.
Yep.
You know, it's the opportunity to build social capital. It is like the chance to be on leadership's radar. You know, when humans think about things, there's like a recency bias. Who can I think of off the top of my head quicker than something else? And people who are visible, people who are around are more likely to get that nod.
Yep.
I think that's not crazy. But also being around people makes you smarter. And what I mean by that, there was a study done at University of Michigan that basically found when people spent more time interacting with others, talking, socializing, connecting, they displayed improved mental function. Yeah. So there's like a physiological advantage to being around people. And it's the same way, like when we're out in the world, we get inspired to make content. Mm-hmm. It's so much easier when, like working in the office, I do miss that about not working in an office anymore. It's like, oh shit, so-and-so said this. Oh, I just watched this thing happen. Like this is real. Like the words, the lines write themselves because people are literally saying them.
Totally. And like the component of, I feel like even doing this podcast and being together and having to like speak in full sentences and form coherent thoughts and just like have an hour-long conversation that we obviously cut down to 30 minutes for you guys because God forbid we talk for that long. You don't want to hear that shit. But like that is so helpful for, I don't know, anyone.
Most of the time, I'm just like grunting.
Yeah, it's all just noises.
Ooh. Obviously, I've just licked boot.
You can't stop licking boot.
I can't stop licking boot. It tastes delicious. How about some points for like full remote?
I think one point is like you can hire from anywhere, like potentially more diverse teams. Yeah. Which is like, I don't know.
Opens the talent pool.
Opens the talent pool. Like more, maybe even qualified talent because you're getting the best of the best from everywhere.
Right.
So that's like an opportunity for fully remote. I still believe there should be like times you all fly in and you're together, times you're at least in person for a little bit, but that does open the talent pool. The commute is always going to be the biggest, reason to not one, I mean, environmentally horrible. When you're sitting in a car for an hour, I'm not able to respond to emails. I'm not able to I can maybe join a call, but then you're the dick who joined the call remotely and your camera's off. Yeah. So I do think the commute just pulls time away. Obviously you can listen to the Demoted podcast. So that's entirely worth it. Please totally go into the office.
They say it's 65 minutes between commuting, the average person between grooming. So waking up, putting your clothes on, showering.
Oh my God, exactly.
And commuting.
Which you forgot this morning.
Right. I just skipped that part.
Totally.
47 minutes for me.
You gained that.
47.
Gain that time back.
Yeah. So I'm not the 65 minutes, but that's what it's costing people a day who feel like that time would be better spent literally doing anything else. Totally. Obviously, which I would agree
with. And on the flip side, I do feel like when I'm home, I definitely allow myself to scroll and fall into these holes of I could just go do my laundry, do whatever. And it's that is time that I'm losing. But also, I don't know.
But it's productive. And you feel productive.
Yeah, exactly.
There's something to be said. There's a mental, it's like waking up and making your bed. Like a lot of people will go through the discipline of, if I make my bed every morning, I can't remember who made this famous, someone did. But it was that is starting the day productive. If nothing else happens the rest of the day,
yes,
you did one productive thing. And humans need that. Humans want to feel progress and purpose. And that's...
And I think when you're early in your career, it's hard to be that accountable, like with work, and have full control of your schedule and be home and not have someone telling you like, let's have a focused dial time. What do you call it? Power hour?
Power hour, call blitz.
Let's have focused time that we're like productive, because it's so hard. I'm so distracted constantly.
Right.
It's like, how do I tell myself, even as like a business owner right now, like to sit down and get shit done? It's really hard.
There's definitely moments of weakness, if you will, that I have. And that's okay. Like, there's plenty of times I was at work, you know, it's what we talked about. I'm going to go shoot the shit with my friends, or I'm like, yo, let's grab a snack and like go for a walk real quick. Or, you know, humans aren't like built to work for 8 straight hours uninterrupted and like completely focused.
Totally.
That's not how it works. So there was another study that found brainwave patterns associated with stress and overwork were much higher when collaborating remotely than in person.
Interesting.
And that's because I think we talked about this, the pressure to feel like you're demonstrating value is so much harder when you don't have like visual cues. You don't physically see someone in the office. It's like you are simply the results of the work, and you're just a little face, little box on a screen.
Yeah, they're like, did people like that, or were they scrolling? All their cameras were off. I have no idea. I have no validation.
Right, we're getting none of the nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
You know, and so it feels harder for people, and we're mentally challenging to do remote collaboration than it does in person.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think we've mastered that, like, all these tools obviously came out like during COVID, whether it's like the app for happy hours, the like remote games that you can play with your coworkers, like all these things. And I still don't think we've mastered, like, it is the exact same in both settings, obviously.
Right.
Like, until you get a hologram of me like doing a little dance in someone's bedroom.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be fully there.
I'm gonna just send the deep fake of myself to the meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was so funny. During business school, I only did this one time, but I recorded a video of myself just like staring at the camera and like occasionally like nodding.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. You did it.
Then I green screened myself and just put a picture of myself there. So it was just like, if you watch long enough, it was like a 1 minute loop.
It would loop. Yeah.
Where it like snapped for a second and I glitched back to where I originally was. You know,
that's so
pro
funny.
Tip. If I got called in, I was in big trouble.
Yeah. Well, and that's what like everyone who started like even college in this setting, it's like, you know, all those tips, like tale as old as time. Oh my God. So like,
I was born in that shit.
Totally. Like, you know how to like really avoid the responsibility. And so it's like, maybe that's why this fear of like, you need to come to the office, we don't trust you. It's like, maybe that's where it comes from. But like, if you're still getting your work done and you're finding ways to check in on your performance and like you are progressing in your role, I don't know. It's like, then why not?
It's easier in sales because sales, I mean, for better or worse, and oftentimes worse, you're a number.
Totally.
Right? It's you're either hitting your number or you're not. Like, it's very like
clear
in your face and clear.
Yeah.
And I don't know about other roles. Like, I mean, I know about other roles, but I imagine that being so much harder of like, how effective are they? How much work are they getting done? Obviously, there's like quantifiable metrics in a lot of roles.
What are those metrics? And I think if you're in a fully remote position, you should have those metrics somehow. I think every job should have performance-based metrics so that you can come with your package of like, here's what I did and here's why I was exceeding. But if you don't, like, it's hard to track.
It's super hard.
The other thing, of course, and Ross loves kids, childcare is expensive. It's hard to be away. It's like, I see a lot of the moms in my DMs and dads, but I mostly have a female following, just being like, work from home is so great because I can be close to my kid and have those check-ins. And it's just like, it's very hard to give that up now. And so I think that's a very valid argument for like, when we say like go into the office, like the number one argument is like, I'm a mom and it's really hard to find like child. And like,
of course,
I totally get that. Like, I think my argument is like, when you're early in your career and you're like establishing this community and these people, you know, that's when you should be going in.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the phase of life of like having kids and having a family and having stability around your home, maybe having a home even, and like, you're not in your tiny bedroom, like you wouldn't, you know, whatever, like then work from home becomes like, you have your setup, you know how to do it. Right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, for people whose lives where they have more responsibility to other people in their lives, particularly family, obviously remote makes more sense.
Totally.
It makes more sense, period. It doesn't mean that there aren't drawbacks to the company itself, but fuck the company, right? Everybody fuck the company, right? We're so anti-company. I think it's like, I think it's cool when people like their job. And I think there's like a stigma, like it's like, you're a bootlicker if you like your job.
Totally.
I don't think that has to be the case.
I hate the like anti-work, anti-corporate narrative. I think there's so much beauty in the people who are like, I love my job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm passionate about it. I
it is a purpose.
agree.
A lot of people like have like that's a big piece of where a lot of people derive their purpose. And your purpose doesn't have to be work.
No.
Obviously, no shit.
No.
Right? But if you could combine your passion and your work, we'd all do it.
Totally.
We would all do it.
If you're giving 40 hours a week that you view as like something you literally hate versus something you're deriving a bit of joy from, like
Right.
obviously we'd choose the latter.
Yes.
Right? So
Right.
I agree. Make work sexy again.
Make work sexy again. I'm in. And, again, like to a degree, I'm not trying to be a corporate bootlicker here. I'm just saying you're allowed to like your job and you're allowed to be in a good position and you're allowed to derive meaning and purpose from your job. You're allowed to, and it's not uncool.
I love that. There, I said it.
Fucking sue me.
There, I said it.
Sorry, TikTok.
So let's talk about obvious reasons why you should absolutely return to the office.
Yeah, these are perfect reasons, and anybody who disagrees is wrong.
Totally. You get to dress up for no one.
You wouldn't want those expensive offices to go empty, would you?
You still get to be on Zoom. Of course, your full team will never come in at the same time.
Your coworkers are pretty much your family.
You get to pay $25 for an overpriced salad because you can't cook your lunch.
That's true. Getting to say Happy Monday in person just hits different.
You lose time that you could have been productive while commuting for an hour.
Fun fact, fluorescent light is actually really good for your skin.
So why not return to the office, right?
There's a million good reasons to return to the office full time.
That's pretty clear.
That was our, what do we call that one? We call
A
that,
call to return.
let's do everybody's favorite, promoted or demoted.
Promoted or demoted.
Work from home theme.
Work from home theme until we see what
Until
crap Talon throws in here.
Yeah. Okay, promoted, demoted, co-working spaces.
Like a WeWork I love.
Yeah.
I think it's fun, especially if you're fully remote, to have that opportunity to like see another human.
Yep.
Sometimes companies will fund you to go into like a WeWork and they'll give a little stipend for that. Huge fan.
Yeah, I've started doing that because I need it. It's the
Totally.
same reason to go to like a coffee
Where
shop.
do you go? Do you
just put me around.
Do you do WeWork? There's one in the marina.
WeWork, but there's people. And that's really what I'm looking for. People drinking coffee, doing business.
Totally. I just want to sit on my laptop and look at a person walk by my cubicle.
Fires me up. Fires me up.
Promoted or demoted, Zoom bombing partner or roommates calls.
I'm going to demote it off the bat. However, if you're in a confined, this is probably better for you who had 3 roommates or 4 roommates just walking around in the background.
Hey, sorry. Hey, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just dropping off the I'm kind of on it. That's like one of my main bits is like just like, or you're the mom in the background when you're working from home with your parents. I had a bunch of my friends move home and it's like, sweetheart, oh my God, is this your team? Hi guys. Hi Steve. I've heard such great things. Mom.
Sorry, I got to pull out my headphones because they can't, sorry.
So sorry.
Now
That's
you can hear them.
my mom because I'm living at home trying to save money.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
I respect it.
I have to demote it, but it's funny.
It's
Makes
funny.
for good content.
It does make for good content. Makes you more of a human.
Totally.
Have somebody Zoom bomb you.
Promoted or demoted, Roombas.
I had one. It wasn't a Roomba. It was some, I don't know.
I did an EcoVax partnership. Love that thing.
Do you?
That thing has a whole mind of its own.
It doesn't get stuck on shit all the time?
It has like a little house that it goes back to and it returns to its charging station.
How does Fletcher, our sponsor dog, feel about that?
Well, Fletcher hasn't seen, I don't really turn her on when Fletcher's there because that would cause just grave harm.
Dex, my dog, does not love the robot vacuum.
I think they're hilarious.
He just avoids, he just watches it, and then if it comes towards him, he like turns and runs and then just watches it more.
Totally. It's like a cat.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder. I'm going to outsource that. I don't like vacuuming.
Mine just gets stuck all the time. And someone be like, you got to do the pathing better. You got to do better pathing. I'm sorry.
You just kick it. You kick it over the little hump.
I yell at it and it doesn't work, so I don't know.
Totally. Mine actually is voice command, and sometimes it'll turn on in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh my God, like powering on. I'm like, whoa, hang on. Go to bed. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Bedtime, not Roomba time.
Yeah, everybody's worried about AI. Check your Roomba.
Check your Roomba.
Check your Roomba. All right, promoted, demoted. Zoom meetings from your car.
I very frequently do the boss who's like never at their desk bit, or like just the person who's constantly dialing in. I think if needed, if you're like driving your kid to school or it's like outside of your technical working hours, of course.
Desperate times.
I think it's like it becomes sort of part of your personality when you're the person who only takes meetings from your car. It's like, really, do you have a desk? Like, are you able to like show a shred of respect for the call?
Right. And I would say it's not a positive look if you're the person who always does that.
Totally.
It happens from time to time. I've been there. I mean, shit, there was a wreck on the Golden Gate Bridge today. If I had a call, I was thinking about it. I was like, well, shit, I'd be in my car right now doing a call.
Totally.
It is what it is.
Happens.
Hey, guys, sorry, crazy wreck on the bridge. You know how it goes. I'm probably going to go camera off because I'm driving.
Yeah, I have to do the whole apology speech. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the speech every time, it doesn't really count.
Of course.
Promoted or demoted, underground Turkish bathhouses.
Which is immediately what I think of when I think of work from home.
Totally. Thank you, Talon, for putting that in there.
I get my monthly subscription.
If you didn't listen to, was it Horrible Bosses Part 1?
Yeah.
Ross does do a little teaser into his Turkish bathhouse story. Would you like to share a little more here for the people in the back?
Yeah, I was in New York City, and it was a Russian Turkish bathhouse that my buddy frequents. And
what do you mean? He's just like, oh, is it a group sex thing?
Not even. You would think so. And I was actually very disappointed. However, once I got there and saw the clientele, I was actually very stoked.
I was happy that we were. Is it cover? Are you naked?
Some people.
No way. Is it co-ed?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have so many questions.
It was the most casual. Like, they have pools that are scalding hot. They have like saunas. They have like ice pools that you go into. And you basically are like dipping yourself in and out of scalding hot situations, going to like smoking hot saunas, and then back into like ice pools. And then they've got a bar in there. You can go sit down, like a restaurant in there. You can just go hang out, lounge about. It's a social thing. Wow. Average age was probably in the 60s sort of situation.
Yeah, like wouldn't be my first kind of social club that I join.
You know, a lot of people are in bathing suits.
Thank God.
Most people are in bathing suits, but it doesn't mean there weren't some.
Then you see the occasional bush.
You see some stuff. And you just pretend like it's normal.
It's like Baker Beach. It's like a infamously like nude beach.
I will tell you that within 2 days of going there, I had one of the worst flus I've ever had. And
I was going to say like the infections and stuff.
I'm not saying that was the reason. I am just saying that it was conveniently timed.
Totally.
I have never been more ill on my friend's couch. While he had us throwing a Super Bowl party too.
No.
And I'm like shaking in the corner. We still laugh about this. I'm like shaking. I'm like, I should probably go get a hotel, dude.
Totally.
Like I'm not good.
Something's wrong.
I'm not. He's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, dude, look at me.
He's like, we go back to the bathhouse and you just rinse off a little bit. Maybe
he's like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm like, oh, okay.
I do. I'm not having a fun time.
No, totally, dude. I'm good. I'll wait for 40 people to leave. Like, no, I feel
don't need
fine.
to sleep.
I feel good.
Yeah. So Turkish underground Turkish bathhouse
promoted one time.
You got to try anything once.
You got to try it.
Try it once.
Try it.
Promoted,
demoted. Answering unrecognized phone calls.
I will always answer the phone. I am
crazy.
so curious.
That's crazy.
You know, it's like, what if it's like a robocall or a sales call? I'll hang up immediately. But like, what if it's my ex from high school calling to ask for me back? Like, I just need to know. You know, like I'm so curious.
You are every salesperson's
I'm welling with curiosity. Dream. I'll always answer.
Every SDR is going to call you now. They're going to go look you up.
Totally.
And they're going to start just hammering your phone.
I mean, please do. I'm so curious.
Because then they got to call connected. That's a stat.
Yeah, I know.
That's a stat.
And I've had like some weird, like, I mean, they're mostly always like robo, but like sometimes it's like, hello, I'm in your house. No, it's not that.
Oh, hi.
But when it's just like static and you're like, am I going to die?
Right.
So anyway.
That's why I don't answer them.
If I don't wake up one day.
Yeah.
It's because the call was coming from inside the house.
Yeah, literally. It's because you answered the call.
Promoted or demoted, referring friends to the company you work for.
To me, I mean, if it's a good spot and you're really enjoying it, do it.
I think it's such a reflection of you. And a lot of my friends, I wouldn't really like go to bat for them in a work setting.
That's also fair.
You know?
Also fair.
But like if it's someone who you're like, this is a beast, both inside and outside of work, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
really, really check yourself and be like, if you just like them and you like partying with them, or you're like, they're just different types of friends. Like if you haven't seen them in a general work setting or see how they work, like, are they productive? Do they talk about their job? And like I don't know, like I wouldn't really stick your neck out for someone that could be a bad reflection of you.
Yes. At the risk of your professional reputation, obviously you shouldn't do that. But I think from if I remember this correctly from my from working at Glassdoor days, the number one way companies source people is through internal referrals.
Yep. People
going to bat for their friends, so on and so forth. How I worked with this person. If your company and people are referring their friends to you, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Of course, we can talk about how that creates bias and sameness and all these other things.
Yeah, but whatever.
But okay.
Generally a good thing.
Generally speaking, a good thing.
Okay.
Or you recommend it to your worst enemy and then you bail. I'm just saying. Because it sucks. Who knows? I'm just saying. Think about it.
We'll promote it generally.
I'll promote it generally. All right, last one. Promoted, demoted, leaving voicemails.
Is this in like a sales capacity or is this just in general?
To your friends, professionally.
Wait, I feel like you have like a really strong opinion about this.
No, I don't.
I'm
just interested in yours.
I am such the person who will leave a 5.5 long minute voicemail saying nothing.
Perfect.
And I don't even care. I'm like, hey, just calling. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll take the Caesar wrap.
Yeah, exactly.
Dressing on
other shit.
I'm doing other shit. Yeah. So anyway, this weekend, I don't even care.
Some bullshit. Oh yeah. By the way, call me back.
Yeah, I won't even say that. I'll just be like, okay, it's getting kind of long. Bye.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to hear that?
No.
I'll do that with voice memos. I'll send Annie like 30-minute long voice memos with no point.
I do love a good voice memo.
Just manic thoughts.
Yeah, and I characterize those as two different buckets.
Yeah. Oh, voice memos and voicemails are different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A voice memo now is way more acceptable to me than a voicemail.
I could see you just never leaving a voicemail.
The only person that leaves me a voicemail is my fucking dentist.
Yeah.
Asking me to confirm my appointment for the 14th time in the last week.
Totally.
Because they're sure I'm going to miss it.
Positive.
And they're not totally wrong, but I'm just saying. I already pressed C to confirm.
Yep.
I already pressed C to confirm on the text message.
I'm going to be there, boss.
Done.
I'm going to be there.
Scheduled this 6 months ago. It's a miracle that I still have this slot open.
You have 6 cavities.
I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got work to do. Get
Totally.
the drill, baby.
Drill.
We're working.
Get the drill ready. That was Promoted or Demoted.
As always.
Hope you enjoyed.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We're going to shift into Dear Demoted. Here's our first one. Hey, Demoted, looking for a bit of career advice. I love your podcast, but every time I listen to it, doubts creep into my mind. Let me explain. I'm considering making a career shift to technology sales. I worked as a project manager and was laid off in December due to a reorganization. I have been told I have a good personality fit for sales, and skills from my PM experience are definitely relevant, along with my undergrad in IT plus 13 years working experience. Every time I turn on the pod, it sounds like Ross hates his sales experience and makes me reconsider a bit. Is it really that bad? Is this the wrong career move? Help. Thanks. Richard. Dick.
Dick. First of all, you will find no greater champion of sales than me.
Absolutely.
But sales is a painful job. Sales is fucking hard, man. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it and say like everyone should go into sales and you make so much money and it's the best. And it is those things, but you got to have them. You got to have the mental fortitude and the grit to do it. Like it is fucking hard. Like I tell people, I try to scare people away from it. Honestly, because the people who don't get scared by what I say, those are the people that need to do sales.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to give you straight, no chase reality check on sales. I think sales is the most important skill you can learn. It's the most important thing in your life, professionally, outside, anywhere.
Yep.
If you can sell, you can get to the places you want to be in life.
Agreed.
Period. However, you lose a lot. You get rejected a lot. You are responsible for controlling things that you actually can't control. You're trying to close business. You can't help if a decision maker has a bad dream about you or they lose budget or they go through layoffs and you're supposed to be reporting these deals back to your team. Like this one's coming in, it feels really good. And then it fails and you feel bad.
Yeah.
You are quantified. You are a number. Okay. Now there's nothing better than being close to revenue because you matter more. Mm-hmm. Product managers, they get cut all the time. They're one of the first people to go.
And what should this person expect with 13 years of work experience transitioning into sales? Do you have to start as an SDR? Like, is this person going to take, or could you start as an AE?
You could probably
with no sales.
You could probably find an AE job, especially if you're selling something more technical, and PMs have some technical, at least comprehension. I would say they should go look at sales engineering.
Yep.
Because then not only do you have the personality for sales, you don't have to deal with as much of the rejection and the bullshit. You get to talk more product. You get to talk more.
Do you get commission as a sales engineer?
You do still get commission. You get less. There's less upside.
Yeah.
But you have a high base. You still make really good money. You work close with sales. You're part of the success of sales.
You get to be on those calls and those demos and have that kind of client interface.
Exactly.
Right?
And you network and you do well with like the top, you find the top salesperson, you get to work with them, you get to learn a lot, you get to interface with executives, and it's less of the like prospecting, the rejection, the like all the bullshit that makes sales really hard. So I would recommend looking at that. Because I think you can go straight into a sales engineering role. But sales is fucking hard. It's the best thing there is. I think everyone should have to do it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's all great and easy and fun.
Totally. And we just like to make fun of everything. So where's the fun and not being pessimistic about our jobs?
The entire reason I created Corporate Bro is because sales was hard and mentally draining and stressful. So what else could you do but laugh?
Totally. I love that. That's great advice. Thank you for that, Ross.
All right. Dear Demoted, what would you do if you were carpooling with your boss for a work trip and you're only 3 weeks into the job? It's a 3-day trip and a 3-hour drive to where we need to go. I feel like I have no clue what to do in the car for 3 hours. It is just the two of us and no one else, so it's not like someone else can help fill any awkward silence. Sincerely, Newbie Anonymous.
That's terrifying to me.
That's terrifying.
3-hour car ride. Yep. I can't even talk to you for 3 hours.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Then we fight.
Because then we'd fight.
Yeah.
I would literally come in with like an agenda in my mind of what we're going to talk about.
Yep.
And then it's also like, what if there's silence? What if it gets too personal? What if you ask something that they don't want to answer and they're like, I don't want to talk about my wife. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was a big chunk that I budgeted for in this. So let me just go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. If you've got your decision tree, if no wife, cut. We switch to play any sports growing up.
Yes. What wakes you up in the morning? I know that's hard.
With your boss, here's what I would do. I would go through their professional journey and like almost treat it like an interview, but much more casual. It's like,
well, treat it like picking their brain. Like, how do I get your job one day?
Yeah.
That's going to be where you're.
Where did you start? How did you find your way into this? Where did you grow up? Like, you know, there's a lot you can talk about in 3 hours.
And the more it gives you a little advantage too, especially if they have multiple direct reports.
100%. FaceTime with your boss is not a bad thing.
Yep.
It may be awkward, but I guarantee it's a net positive unless you do some real freak shit.
Do you play music?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. What do you listen to,
Wait,
boss?
We were just talking about this. How you have a playlist for everything.
Everything. Yeah. This is my traveling with my boss for 3 hours in the car playlist.
Yeah. Ross, I was like, are you?
You're my wonder. Whoa.
Like, are you the total aux guy? And you're like, oh, you mean have a playlist for driving from Demoted to home? Yeah, let me just pull up that. Like, you have everything on lock with the playlist.
Let me just play this. This is a new ditty. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Anyway. What do you think, boss?
What do you think, boss? You like?
Do you like that song?
You like a little WAP?
You like WAP?
Anyway, that was Dear Demoted.
That was Dear Demoted. Yeah, you can find some stuff.
That's our advice. Totally.
That's our advice.
You'll find some stuff to talk about. Treat it like a podcast. Treat it like you're with us in the Beanbags.
Interview. Yeah. Just keep asking questions and
Never
you'll be
stop.
good to go.
Never
be
stop.
interested in what they have and who they are.
And if not, try acting and pretend.
Right.
So thank you for tuning in. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button,
destroy it.
Follow us on socials. Watch our YouTube. We spend a lot of time producing the video behind this. We're in costumes. I mean, we
show up and
if you're
show
only
out.
listening on audio, you are missing out.
You're missing out.
You get to see the bags under our eyes. Like
share this with friends.
Share this with friends.
And again, you can submit voice memos to us now too, so we can stop reading off these gigantic paragraphs. You can just speak it to us.
contact@demotedpodcast.com. There's a Google form on our website.
Yep, in the upper right says contact the pod.
And if you haven't rated us 5 stars,
please.
What are you doing?
Just do it, dog. You don't
it.
even have to write a comment. Just like 5 stars, boom, move on with your life.
Move on. We're done.
And
That's all we
you.
ask. We appreciate you. You don't even have to listen.
Nope.
No, I'm kidding.
No. You have to listen for at least 2 minutes because I think it won't let you review. Anyway, we'll see you next time
on Demoted.
Demoted.